Hello, welcome to episode 236 of Adventures in Pop on this rather sultry evening here in London. My purpose this evening is to bring you the last single from Might As Well Dance. It is out with the album on Friday. It is called Another Saturday, and I've been looking forward to bringing you this brand new single and the last single, as I say, from the album. The reason this is a bit special is multifold. First of all, let's put credit where credit's due. This is a joint collaboration. This is me and my nephew William Jacobs, who we got together. I think it was about 2 years ago. This song has been sitting on the shelf for a little while, but it never collected any dust because I knew that it needed to be on this album, and most likely the last track, because it sounds different from the other tracks, and I'll tell a little bit more about it in a moment. But just so you know how these things work in terms of a collaboration. My nephew William Jacobs, he spent a bit of time here. He is he's busy doing his own thing with making music, putting out videos, and I will leave a link to his stuff below, so you can go and check him out for yourself. For this, he provided, I would say, noises, beats, and kind of a general sense of gloominess. That's what we did when we were together. It was just kind of put what actually was quite a long track together that was just pretty experimental. It went on for a good 5 or so minutes. But it was setting some tones and doing some interesting things. William went home. Eventually I went back to it, and I thought, well, okay, if this is going to be a track, first of all, I've got to cut quite a lot out because I've got to get it down to as near to 3 minutes as I can. So I had to be a little bit wild with the scissors, but it was, I had no alternative. And in a way, I think it creates possibly a better song because it's more compact. It has to, has a bit more urgency. There's no flab, and it just, comes in, does its thing, and buggers off again. And that's really what you want. So William provided the kind of gloomy soundtrack to this song. He went home and then sent me all the stems, and sometime later, I started putting it together. We had put some words together while he was still here, and those all stayed, and I think I just added some more to those. It didn't have the bass line that it now has, and certainly the extra vocals that repeat, no more dancing, that only got added on pretty much at the last minute, actually. As I was beginning to mix and master it, I thought it could just do with, and on it went. That's the luxury of doing stuff at home, when you can just add anything at any time. And the danger is you just never stop adding anything at any time. So what we've got here is a track that is about, I need to tell you what it's about. It's basically about the death of the club scene in London. Particularly, I guess, the gay club scene in London, but I think it's something that is kind of pretty universal for clubbing in this city. And I think the reasons for it are fairly straightforward. I think that, when people want to meet people, they don't necessarily go clubbing. They might go on, an app to do their meeting. So I think the whole thing about using social media has changed the way that people view a night out. And clubbing was sometimes a bit of an excessive night out, and it was sometimes a bit of an expensive one. You had to get a cab home and all that kind of stuff. But there was something I feel very nostalgic about, a certain period, which was probably late 90s through to about late noughties, really. It was kind of a 10-year period where I did go clubbing quite a lot, and it was all a whole load of fun, what I can remember of it. But I do remember, dancing to things at 5 o'clock in the morning in an absolute sea of dry ice and hardly able to recognise the end of my own nose. And then, at some point, thinking, I better collect my gang together, we better go home. So I have, fond memories. But I think, you compare what it was like, maybe, take 2005, 2010 with what it's like today. I think there is a real dearth of places to go to. I'm sure there's a good kind of underground somewhere that's beginning to bubble up and will make this better. But, if you go down to Vauxhall, and I kind of mentioned this in the song, Vauxhall used to be one of the kind of core centres of clubbing in London. It was its own little scene south of the river. The whole lot of that's gone and has made way for tower blocks and, residential blocks, office blocks. The whole place has completely changed. It looks like you've landed on the moon, basically, when you get to Vauxhall. And none of those old clubs that went on under the arches, etc., I don't think any of them exist. Maybe some version of Fire is still there, but I don't know. So this is a song that is talking about the death of clubbing and is asking the question, Saturday night, what do you do now on a Saturday night? I'm sure people have worked out the answer to that, but it's a track that I wanted to put at the end of this album because everything else has been, frivolous and lighthearted. And I thought if I'm going to be honest, the whole clubbing premise is kind of a bit over, and I should reflect that in the very last track. So it does end with the whole album ends with this. But I really like it. I like a bit of doom and gloom, and I hope this is as doom and as gloomy as you want it, because certainly I tried to make sure that in the video that doom and gloom was emphasised as much as possible. So here it comes, a little bit before its due date, if you like. Here is track 12, which is the last single from Might As Well Dance. It's called Another Saturday. Thank you to William Jacobs, and here it is.
Another Saturday. Where do we go? We could stay out late or stay at home. Another Saturday with nothing to show. We could have a date or meet on the phone. No more dancing in the summer heat. No more dances with strangers you meet. No more chances to follow your feet as they